Welcome to StartUp Spokane, where hosts Steve Traben and Megan Halsey explore the excitement and momentum growing throughout Spokane's expanding startup community. StartUp Spokane is a joint effort between Greater Spokane Incorporated's StartUp Spokane, our friends at Well Dressed Walrus, and Spokane Talks Online. Now, here are your hosts, Steve and Megan.
Welcome to StartUp Spokane on Spokane Talks Media, your podcast home for everything entrepreneurship related in the Spokane region. As you know, StartUp Spokane is a program of Greater Spokane Incorporated, and we're here to educate you about the resources that exist in our region's ecosystem. So whether you have an idea, you've launched, or you're growing a business, we want to give you the information you need and the resources you need so that you can be successful. So without further ado, Megan, let's get our guest introduced and start this great conversation today.
Yeah, well, we're really fortunate in our area to be able to have a wide range of resources that help businesses launch and grow. And today we are going to talk to one of the entrepreneurs behind some of those great businesses, and his name's Ramsey Pruchnic.
Randy, uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just creating new names for you. Ramsey Pruchnic.
Yeah, hi.
Welcome, Ramsey. Why don't you just give a little backgrounder on you or our group?
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. So, like you guys said, my name's Ramsey Pruchnic, and right now I'm the president and founder of a company called Strategy Labs, and the co-founder with my wife of another company called Hello Sugar. Spokane native, or at least I consider myself that. Military brat, but landed here in high school and didn't leave. Stayed for high school. Did my undergrad work at Eastern. Stuck around for about a year after that. Did a little hiatus to Seattle to kind of further my career, and then was able to find my way back about 2.5 years ago.
That's awesome. So what we'd really like to know is, can you tell us a little bit about Strategy Labs, what the concept is, how it works, and how you help clients grow their businesses?
Yeah, so Strategy Labs really is capitalizing on all my experience I had in the corporate world through working at big ad agencies in Seattle, working on the brand side at Microsoft, where I did a couple product launches and was on some key marketing teams, and then even working at a big startup there. And it was this, basically my experiences in marketing were really around the data and the tracking side, and it was all about how do you understand the revenue and the ROI and the impact of your marketing dollars. So we recognized, when we moved back to Spokane, we kind of recognized that was the big issue companies face. They said, we're spending money in marketing, but we don't really understand what we're getting from it. That's the big question everybody wants to know. That's the big issue is, like, if I'm going to invest these dollars, how do I know I'm getting an ROI? How do I know it's driving impact? Mm-hmm. And what we found, it was really a question that wasn't being answered in a real meaningful way in the areas. So we basically exist to solve that, and we do that through buying digital advertising on behalf of our customers in a way that we can track the impact and measure the impact of every dollar spent.
Yeah, can we talk a little bit more about the tools that you use? Because I mean, it sounds fascinating, and you're just kind of getting, I think, into the basics of that through advertising, marketing, right? Can you talk about the tools you use to get to the impact?
Yeah, so we're buying advertising across kind of all the major digital channels, whether that's in-app advertising or display advertising, search advertising through Google and Bing, social with Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. And each of those platforms have different tracking technologies you can implement on your website. They're called pixels that allow you to understand the behaviors of a user and the impact. So we're using that pixel data with site-side analytics and then our customers' overall business data. We're aggregating all that data into what we built was a data warehouse.
Okay, so you actually have a product then that sort of aggregates the data, or are you just a pure consulting play?
Yeah, no, so we're leveraging existing tools in the marketplace
right.
To aggregate the data. And then I'd say the product, if you will, or really our approach is how we analyze that data. So, I've built a team of really data-driven marketers. We have a full-time data scientist. We have a number of account managers, but it's really, we didn't develop any new technology to track it. We're just looking at the data differently, and we're looking at the data kind of at a speed that other people weren't. So
does that give you the ability to change approaches if you're seeing that something's more effective or less effective you can change it on the fly and use those dollars more effectively?
So we are like day traders of advertising. Okay. So,
great.
When we talk to a new client, they're traditionally used to going to an agency and saying, I want to run an ad campaign for whatever product or whatever service, and the agency gives them a quote and said, well, we're going to spend X amount of dollars here, X amount of dollars there, we're going to get you this many impressions, and when the campaign's over, you're going to get a report to see how it worked. And to us, that is a very old and traditional approach. So the way we approach it is we sell a mindset. We start with having conversations with our clients about what is your business goals. And we want to truly understand the business goals. Our clients will say, well, we want more traffic to our website. Well, why do you want more traffic, right? The traffic is because you want to accomplish something. And ultimately, it's they want either to increase their brand awareness, they want to drive more online sales, they want to get leads. So we try to get to the why first and understand what is that KPI you want and what does it need to be. So we dig into our customers or our clients' business and understand what is your profit margin, what is your conversion rate of leads, how does that impact your business? And from there, we build a marketing campaign that really starts with this test and learn methodology. We say, analyzing your historical data, we believe the best approach for your advertising campaign is XYZ. That's just a starting point. We make sure we have the infrastructure in place to get data feedback on the marketing we're doing. And then we analyze that data every day and we move money around just like day traders do in the stock market, maximizing those dollars in whatever channels and audiences are performing.
So it's really a turnkey approach. It's establishing strategy, recommending the campaign, the type of campaign, the mediums, and then measuring the outcomes and making adjustments right along the way. Or
I would say it's far from turnkey. I mean, every client is very different, but the approach and the mindset is consistent in what you're saying.
I guess turnkey from my standpoint is it's from begin to end. You're not just coming in on the back end, you're actually coming in on the front end and really managing the whole process.
Yeah, I mean, it's a holistic engagement, and we try to build relationships. So, our best work is when we get to work with our clients long-term to build their business. And with all of that data, they get so much benefit beyond just the advertising. So we use the data to drive advertising, but we're mining all of this data for our customers. We're able to tell them, your website isn't converting as well as it used to, or your new product line isn't resonating with females, and they used to be your best audience. So how do we address that? We worked with one client where we identified that 40% of their Instagram followers were fans of the Seattle Seahawks. So he launched a Seahawks t-shirt as a result of that data, and it became his 6th highest selling product that year. So, there's all these additional benefits that they get from this data mining we're doing, and it's making our advertising better, but it's also making them more educated as a business owner.
Can we talk a little bit about the clients that you have? Where are they mostly local? Are they national, regional?
So, when we started, it was working with a lot of local brands. We've since grown to the point where we still have a great pool of Spokane-based businesses, but we're definitely working with national clients. We have clients in Silicon Valley. We have a big tech think tank we actually work with out of the Silicon Valley. We have companies in LA. We work with a number of Fortune 500s, companies out of Seattle. So we're working on, we're doing global campaigns at this point with big brands.
That's great.
How do they find you?
So it's all been word of mouth, which I think is a good testament to just the quality of work we're doing, anytime someone's willing to endorse you. And so, we haven't been out there actively advertising ourselves, mostly because we haven't needed to. We've got a strong pipeline. We're getting great referrals. And then I've got really great partners, and we've been able to leverage their network.
Good. So let's talk about some of the partners that you have here locally, because I think that's part of the story.
So, kind of the backstory of Strategy Labs is it literally started, basically, I tell people all the time, it started in the back of a Denny's by the airport. I was working late at night with 1 or 2 clients just saying, hey, it's some great extra cash flow. I've got some student loans to pay off. This would be amazing if I can make some extra money taking my skills. So I started with some really small brands that are now really big brands that we've grown. But a couple of other business owners in town recognized the work we were doing. They kept hearing about kind of the impact of our work, and there was actually a great synergy between their existing businesses and mine. And so that partnership formed in January between myself, Tyler Lafferty, and Nick Murdo, who have creative and development agencies, and it's a great synergy. So they've been working with big brands, building websites and doing creative and doing all this great work. But then they were handing that work over to another agency to execute the advertising campaign, and they weren't getting all the data feedback that they would necessarily want to continue to optimize their creative. So they recognize this really great synergy, and we've been able to move into the space with their existing brands, be the media arm of kind of what they're doing, and work on some really great projects together. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I know they speak very highly of you and agree that those synergies that your firm and their firms bring together are just very impactful.
Yeah,
so.
It's been wonderful.
So being located here in Spokane, has that been a detriment when you're working with national clients? Have you had any challenges dealing with that?
It hasn't yet. I mean, I have the benefit of kind of a lot of experience I brought from just my time at Microsoft, my time in Seattle. But what we recognize and what we know is people really care about the quality of the work. They don't necessarily care so much where you're located. And, Spokane has so many benefits, and, and there's a really great team we've been able to build. So, it hasn't been a hindrance for us at all. We have to travel a little more. I mean, sometimes it can be tough for, coming from the East Coast, it's a little bit of a trek to get to Seattle, but, we have no problem getting on a plane and going to see our clients. So, in today's day and age, with how much we're using video conferencing and, chat technology, and then just the ability to travel real easily, I mean, it hasn't hurt us at all.
That's amazing. So what do you see as next for Strategy Labs? How do you continue the growth pattern that you're on?
Yeah. I mean, we want to continue. I mean, it's been exponential growth. We've grown to about a company of 12 people, and making additional job offers as we speak. So the company continues to grow. So I think maintaining that growth trajectory is key while maintaining quality. So that's something we're really sensitive to, of like, we don't want to just grow but sacrifice the quality of the product we're delivering. So we're trying to be strategic in that growth. We're trying to really develop our talent internally, trying to find the best people we can here, and then continue to focus on the data side, right? Because that's really been our unique value prop. So continue to invest in the data systems. We're looking at trying to build out some of our own approaches and data technologies that we can leverage and kind of roll out in the marketplace. So looking at, is there a product or a service that we can deliver, even for companies that are maybe not big enough to hire a full service agency, but would like to have some of the tools we're using. And so we're trying to really think about how could that be packaged up for smaller brands to leverage.
That's great. That's a great answer. We're going to take a quick break on Startup Spokane on Spokane Talks Media, where we're talking to Ramsey Pruchnic about Strategy Labs and Hello Sugar. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Is your child having trouble coping with a personal disability, but don't know where to go? Consider our friends at Breakthrough Incorporated. Breakthrough takes great pride in mentoring their DDA clients who have intellectual disabilities and their BRS clients who have challenging behaviors toward the creation of safe, appropriate, ethically sound life goals. They integrate programs at school and home to enrich their lives. They work hard to make a positive difference in you and your family's lives. Breakthrough provides a highly structured, fully staffed residential setting in local neighborhoods. 6 in Spokane and 2 in the Tri-Cities. Diagnoses affect people differently, so their service to each resident is unique, giving them the opportunity to grow and evolve. For more information on Breakthrough, visit their website at breakthroughincorporated.org.
What? You haven't been to the library lately? Stop in today and see that the library is more than books. Spokane County Library District facilities feature on-site technology, including Wi-Fi, computers, and printers, as well as free use of meeting rooms. The Library District offers events and programs for all ages, from story times to career development and employer classes to Social Security workshops. Our staff is well trained and happy to help. Find out more about your library at scld.org.
Welcome to Tom Sawyer Country Coffee.
Tom Sawyer Country Coffee only roasts the finest organic coffee for our signature blends. Enjoy a cup at our coffee shop and local businesses and organizations across the region.
I'm Tom Sawyer and we choose the Pacific Northwest.
Welcome back to Startup Spokane on Spokane Talks, where we're talking to Ramsey Pruchnic of Strategy Labs and Hello Sugar. Before we went to break, we were talking a little bit about some of the growth plans for Strategy Labs. And so one of the things that we were talking about over break is you were talking a little bit about talent acquisition, about growing what a great team that you've built. How has that worked for you building a business here in Spokane?
It's been good. I'd say there's definitely been some challenges just because what we do is so unique and so different than what other companies are doing in the marketplace. And so we've really had to find a lot of people that honestly were kind of entrepreneurs already. They were doing this on the side. They were pursuing kind of this digital marketing piece, and they wanted to do it with a company where they could do it at scale. So I've been really lucky that I found a lot of people that honestly are other entrepreneurs that I've basically been able to bring into my business and give them the opportunity to kind of build a business within my business. I kind of tell them but that's one of the challenges definitely is I look at our growth strategy, and even as we post for open roles now, is there's just not a lot of people that have the type of experience we're looking for, which means we've really had to take a look and say, if we can find the people with the right mindset and who have the right raw skills, can we train and develop them?
Sure. And then is some of the talent that you're looking for, I mean, are you going outside of the local region to find them? Are you actually recruiting talent into the Spokane region?
So we've looked a little bit outside of Spokane, but we're real conscious about the fact that we want people that are here in Spokane. Mm-hmm. We wanted to build the business here. We wanted people to work here. We weren't looking to, leverage people in Seattle or New York or LA that wanted to work remote. We want to build this brand.
Yeah, so you want them physically here. I just wondered, and maybe when we talk about your story of coming back to Spokane, I just wondered you might have the ability to influence people about, hey, why Spokane would be a great place to relocate for a number of reasons and actually work for you. So sounds like a lot of your talent acquisition, you're focusing locally. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like you're also, a lot of these people have experience, so you're not hiring grads straight out of college or universities.
Today I've been able to leverage my Rolodex to build a team of people with some level of experience. But it's starting that Rolodex is starting to get a little thin in terms of those people. And so now we're having to broaden our scope a little bit. And so looking at young, talented people, and I'm constantly running into college students that are like, I taught myself how to use Google Analytics. I taught myself how to do Facebook ads, because it's really not something that's actively taught in the universities today. Yeah. And so the people I'm finding are people that they went out and decided they wanted to learn these skills, and then we get to kind of help develop them to the next level. And so those have been my best hires, and those are the people that we're talking to.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that's I love that idea of finding the people who have that drive and that entrepreneurial spirit, the people who have that lab or that test environment in their own home or things that they're working on because they're interested. Those are the people who really add a lot to an environment like that. But one of the things that we also wanted to talk about is you did leave Spokane. You worked in Seattle. Was coming back to Spokane always on your radar?
Yeah, I mean, Spokane's home. Seattle was great in terms of what it did for my career. I got to do a lot of amazing things and get a lot of experience. But when the opportunity opened up for us to come back, we jumped at it. I mean, we wanted to be here. We wanted to raise our family here. This is home. So, Seattle was an amazing place to live and grow my career, but ultimately Spokane's where we wanted to be, and so we took the opportunity to come back not too long ago.
Yeah, and with the return to Spokane, you started Strategy Labs, but you and your wife have also started Hello Sugar. So let's segue a little bit into that story, even though it's going to make everybody hungry.
So when we came back to Spokane, we really made the decision that if we're going to be in Spokane, we want to really have an influence and impact on the community. So the great way to do that is to create jobs. And so Strategy Labs was part of that, but the bigger vision was Hello Sugar. And so, it started with the vision of how do we create something physical in Spokane that forces us to lay deep roots in the community, that allows us to influence the community and impact people. And so that was the vision for the business. The what type of business that wasn't necessarily established at that point. Mm-hmm. So we spent a long time figuring out what that business would look like, and that's where we landed on Hello Sugar.
And how do you go about, why don't you tell people what Hello Sugar is, and then let's talk about how you went about deciding what it was going to be.
Yeah. So Hello Sugar is a donut experience, and I always say experience over shop because it's unlike any other donut shop in Spokane. And so we're really conscious about about that experience, from the point you walk in to watching the donuts get made to getting them delivered and the unboxing experience. We make hot, fresh, made-to-order mini donuts. That's our product that we're delivering, and we're located in Kindle Yards. We actually get a co-op a space with Indaba Coffee, and there's been a great partnership formed there together in that space, and that's what we deliver.
Yeah, and when did you launch Hello Sugar?
So officially opened on National Donut Day, which was June 1st.
And let me tell you, you do not sell donuts. Each one of those things is a miniature work of art. They are beautiful and they taste amazing. Unfortunately, I know this already.
Okay, so let's get off the donuts for just 1 minute. I want to go back.
Okay.
I want to go back to, you talked about you guys wanted to get deep roots. You wanted to create jobs. You didn't necessarily know it was going to be donuts. So I want to know, and our listeners want to know, how did you get from concept to donut experiences?
Yeah.
I mean, you must have gone through a heck of a process.
Well, so, I'm a data guy and I love numbers. So when we were looking at what do we want to build, it started with research, and it started with, what's existing in the marketplace, where is there a void in the marketplace. And it started looking at what's a product that we could streamline and be easy. It was just a numbers game. And so there's a lot of ideas thrown out there, and we just started to do an analysis. We started to build forecasts and project P&Ls, and donuts was something that we saw there was an opportunity in the marketplace. We saw examples of people doing businesses that kind of were in the same vein, that were having a lot of success. So I reached out to those business owners on LinkedIn and had conversations. I mean, I really put myself out there in a way to say, how do I kind of figure out what the atmosphere is like and how people have been successful, and how do I get my hands on some data? And so I just started data mining and doing research. And my sister actually brought up the idea of donuts in the family conversation. Kind of, she got the wheels turning on that specific idea, and I took the same approach I do with every business, which is I just started doing lots of research.
Sure. Can you? Were there some other options besides donuts that you were thinking about? I mean, I think it's just interesting to see sort of how that evolved. So were there some that you'd be willing to share, or am I bringing up
there's a lot of a lot of the ideas for me, always go digital first, and so, but we really wanted something brick and mortar, and so coffee, breakfast places, retail, figuring out some niches there. So
how did you identify gaps, like what there might be a need for? Were there specific tools? I'm all about trying to figure out, is there something that entrepreneurs can learn from Ramsey? Seriously, right? Because you actually approached it from the perspective of, it wasn't like, hey, I want to make donuts, let's make that work. It's, what's the need? What's the gap?
So it was very qualitative. And it started first off with, like, we wanted a business that wasn't a trend. Right, so donuts have been around forever. I mean, they started in World War I. People started making them in the trenches, frying them in like soldiers' helmets. So donuts have a long history. Businesses have, lasted for generations. They'll get handed down. So, we started with kind of that approach of, we don't want to just find the next trend. We want a business that has the legs that could last a long time, and so. We went from, every time we'd take an idea, we'd go straight to Instagram and Facebook and start doing research for what are the donut shops, or what are the coffee shops, or what are the retailers that are out there, and what kind of traction do they have, and what kind of following. And but it was all very qualitative initially, and then we'd look at the local market and say, how many of this specific business exists within these specific areas?
Right.
And, Kindle Yards, kind of even the downtown core, there's no donut shops within walking or driving distance. And so, when we had the opportunity to establish that location, it was a no-brainer.
No, that's great. And I think, just as a plug, because of the work we do with StartUp Spokane, you did all this research on your own. And we have the opportunity to work with Spokane Public Libraries. They have an incredible business resources area, and Mark Pond with Spokane Area Library will help do market research. There's a great tool called Buxton that is sort of consumer buying behavior for retail sort of businesses. And all of that is available for people that walk into the library. that service and support's available for free. So
so anybody can do what Ramsey's done with a little bit
with
of help
some
from
with
Mark.
some assistance. So sorry, I'm not trying to plug, but
Yeah.
but for people that are saying, "Gosh, that guy's really smart. I don't think I could do that myself." We have folks that can help with that. So hook up to startupspokane.com and we'll help
And
you.
it was Hello Sugar that actually brought Ramsey and I together. We started talking about what resources you guys needed and how to help. And, you know, it was as simple as an introduction to one of our CDFI organizations, Craft 3, that, you know, was able to help you guys get going.
Yeah, Craft 3 was huge in kind of helping us kind of get over that hump. So we had self-funded it early on.
Yeah.
There was construction delays and other things that slowed our launch. And, you know, there's just always unforeseen costs when you're starting a business. And so, you know, it was great that we were able to talk to a partner like that. They'll help us to get that final financing we need to get us open, to make sure we had money for operating expenses, because you have zero idea until you open the door what it's going to look like. And then we started recommending them to people, and they've been able to help our friends who just opened a coffee shop in the Valley. I've introduced them to a number of other folks that are having conversations. So it's one of those, just like Strategy Labs, it's all referral business. Like, we had such a great experience with Craft 3 that we've been doing the same for them and telling everybody we know.
And that's what our ecosystem is all about. Unfortunately, though, we are out of time today, so we want to thank you so much for joining us, Ramsey. It's been a great conversation. And to our listeners, we hope that you'll be joining us for future Broaden podcasts as we bring you the story of entrepreneurship in the Inland Northwest. Thanks for joining us at Startup Spokane and Spokane Talks Online.
Startup Spokane is produced in Spokane, Washington by SpokaneTalksOnline.com, which is a joint effort between GSI's Startup Spokane, Well Dressed Walrus, and Spokane Talks Online. Ask a question, recommend a guest, and hear this program again online anytime at SpokaneTalksOnline.com. We wish you a great and profitable day.